Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Mahalia Joseph, and you're watching the C News Live Report at noon. Topping the news at this time, despite progress made this morning in a meeting among the OWTU, the Labour Minister and Petrotrin, the impending strike action by Petrotrin workers are still on the cards. Petrotrin President Fitzroy Harewood was present at the meeting today, as his presence was vital in the ongoing discussions. The meeting lasted for about 90 minutes, as Mr. Harewood and his team were the first to emerge from the meeting.
Took on a sort of a positive approach. However, we are nowhere close to settlement as yet. I want to make that abundantly clear. Until and unless we sign on the dotted line, until and unless we get the government to give the company its directive, which directive will bring about a settlement, we are not close to a settlement as yet.
The workers are against the stalled salary negotiations for the period 2014 to 2017. Their representing union also has a matter in the court for the previous bargaining period. After the meeting this morning, the OWTU went to the industrial court for this matter. A media conference has been called for 1 p.m. The Chaguanas Chamber of Commerce is maintaining its call for the consultations to be done with both local and international companies to see the best way forward for state-owned Petrotrin. His suggestion is that the company be privatized.
It may be top-heavy. Maybe some of the top-level management are being overpaid, and we have to revisit this whole structure of Petrotrin. That is why it is so key to look at privatization. The privatization, for instance, will help possibly revamp the whole industry and turn Petrotrin from let's always be in a deficit in our budget to actually adding to the GDP.
Policemen are heading into wage negotiations today for the period 2014 to 2016 with the Chief Personnel Officer. President of the Representing Police Service Social and Welfare Association, Michael Seals, says they are being very mindful of the economic situation within which the country finds itself.
The association is going to be responsible. We have examined the economic situation, and we have taken cognizance of all that has been said, but we have looked at not just looking at the whole question of monetary gain. We're also looking at things that can be done which are non-monetary or non-pecuniary, as we say, in relation to what has to happen for policemen and to improve the lot of policemen.
In 2015, officers received a 14% wage increase. 50% of the back pay was supposed to be paid to all officers, but Seals said to date there were some who had not received any money. Police Service Finance Branch had assured the back pay will be paid, but there was a delay in processing some of the payments due to officers who had sick leave and extended sick leave recorded against them. Mr. Seals says in the negotiation, some of the items police are open to include non-monetary items.
We have homes, you understand, and policemen are willing to concede to get an opportunity to own their own home. Debt forgiveness in terms of what some of the outstanding monies that policemen may owe to the various government institutions. So there's a lot of things that we can do. What we are trying to do for the policemen is to encourage a situation where a young man must be attracted, and we want the brilliant minds attracted to the police service so that they can make law enforcement a career. And that's where we are in terms of how we are going about this particular negotiation.
Seals did say police officers have been looking closely at what is taking place between the OWTU and their negotiations, and he believes what is being offered is not in keeping with the good faith that the collective bargaining is built on. You're watching the C News Live Report at noon. Remember, you can keep up to date with all the latest news on our website at ctvtt.com, or you can check out our Facebook and Twitter pages at C News Live. New year, new deadline. But will there be a new outcome, as debate on the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act is expected to continue in the Parliament this afternoon? This morning on GMTT, we heard from Opposition Senator Wade Mark and Minister of Public Utilities Fitzgerald Hines on the FATCA debate. Peter Christopher has more.
The first sitting of Parliament in 2017 will see the return of the Tax Information and Exchange Bill, also known as the FATCA Bill, to the Lower House. For much of the latter half of 2016, the bill made its way to the order paper, but prior to the Christmas recess, very little progress had been made. The government and the opposition had failed to come to an agreement concerning the minor issues within the bill should be ironed out. The opposition had been steadfast that given clauses concerning sharing of private banking information, that the matter should be taken before a joint select committee. This was echoed by opposition Senator Wade Mark on Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago.
You want to pass this law? You don't need us. Delete all the obnoxious and offensive provisions, including privacy invasion, as well as unlawful and illegal acts committed by the Board of Inland Revenue. Get a simple majority, pass the legislation. You don't need us. The second thing we told them to do, look, establish a GSC.
The government, however, has objected to this, arguing that the Joint Select Committee is a time-consuming process and that the concerns could similarly be raised in Parliament. This position was also re-emphasized by the Minister of Public Utilities, Fitzgerald Hines.
We saw it as an attempt on their part to waste time on a matter that they were all too familiar with, and a matter that was innocuous to the law-abiding citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And we said, we are going to no joint select committee. Come to the floor of the House. You will have an opportunity at the committee stage, which is where the measure is at right now, to talk on the matter as long as you want and as much as you want.
The deadline for the country to become FATCA compliant was extended from September 30th of last year to February of this year. Should Trinidad and Tobago fail to bring legislation which brings them into compliance, the U.S. may impose a 30% holding tax on transactions made to the U.S. by local banks. Peter Christopher, C News.
As debate on the FATCA bill is set to resume in the Parliament in a short while, the Bankers Association is hoping both the government and opposition can come to a mutual agreement for the good of this country. Speaking on CTV's Good Morning Trinidad and Tobago, the body's president, Anya Schnur, explained the bill will not affect Trinidad and Tobago citizens, but only those with financial ties in the U.S.
How it can affect everybody is if we don't come into compliance with FATCA, and therefore we are then viewed as a country that is not FATCA compliant, and also we will be subject to other restrictions on U.S. dealing in U.S. Instruments. So, for instance, we've talked about the fact that if banks and credit unions and financial institutions are not FATCA compliant, that U.S. correspondent banks would be obligated to withhold 30% of income on any U.S. transaction that we do with them.
She said discussion on FATCA began in 2012 when the People's Partnership was in government, and in 2014 it had agreed to sign the IGA-1.
This bill is very simple because all it's simply saying is that it's allowing us as banks to be able to provide information to the BIR and then for the BIR to provide information to the IRS. It's not that complicated. So all it's simply saying is, you know, even though we have privacy provisions in certain legislations, when it comes to U.S. persons only, we are able to transmit that information to the BIR, and the BIR is able to transmit that information. And it doesn't affect, we are not going to be giving the BIR other information only on U.S. persons.
Some crime news now. Tobago has recorded its first murder for 2017. 44-year-old Kurt Tibbs Clark of Lambo was shot dead in Orange Hill on Thursday night. According to reports, at around 8:30 p.m., Clark was in his Nissan Almera with Angela Burgess and a 4-year-old boy when a car pulled up beside him on Prospect Road. The occupants of the vehicle opened fire. Clark died on the spot. Burgess was hit in the arm while the boy was unharmed. Police are also investigating a murder in Morvah which occurred this morning. At around 7 a.m., gunshots rang out on Plover Street, Red Hill Extension, Morvah. When residents checked, they found the body of Christopher Dyer. Dyer, 34, lived nearby. Residents said Dyer was a pleasant and helpful member of the community. Investigators only recently left the scene. The murder toll for the year now stands at 9. Marcia McLean has been charged with the murder of her stepdaughter Janice Figaro. McLean is expected to appear at the San Fernando Magistrate Court today to answer to charges in relation to the matter. Instructions to charge McLean came from the DPP's office on Thursday. Figaro, 4, died under mysterious circumstances on November 24th. The infant was initially said to have died due to a reaction to French fries, but an autopsy revealed she had been beaten to death. McLean had been arrested twice before and she was charged with the murder. It's time now for a look at the weather forecast. Cloudy periods with light to moderate showers will interrupt sunny conditions in varying localities, mainly after mid-morning. Patchy cloudiness is expected tonight, with showers occurring in a few areas. The mite problem at the Montrose Vedic School will soon be eradicated thanks to Rentokil, who has been contracted to address the mite invasion at the primary school, which has left the school closed since late last year and caused a number of students and teachers to fall ill. CNews spoke to President of the Montrose Vedic PTA, Larry Dilchan, who updated us on the matter.
Was check a professional pest control agency and asked them for some advice on how they could treat the situation. They advised us that one of the things that they would look into doing is tenting the school and doing a total fumigation, spraying and sanitizing of the school. Right? So the PTA, seeing that that might have been one of the only options that we have to possibly get our children back into school, went ahead and enter a contract with Rentokil.
But Mr. Dilchan said to pay for the entire school to be fumigated and sanitized, it will cost over $80,000, monies the PTA doesn't have.
And assistance from parents and corporate entities, the Ministry of Education to assist financially. The board has committed some money to assist them financially. So as it is now, the school is covered with a tent and they are in the process of fumigating the whole compound.
School restarts on Monday, but it looks as though the state of the institution's infrastructure will only be confirmed when students go in. President of the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, Lindsley Dudai, says with no feedback, it is expected that all is well.
We would have gotten information by way of a list of schools that are to be prepared during the Christmas vacation, and we haven't gotten any report from our functionaries in these areas in terms of its readiness for reopening schools. So the fact that all schools will be able to reopen on Monday, the 9th of January, and we just wait and see what happens on Monday, because we have no information until now in terms of any schools not being ready for reopening.
Principals, Mr. Dudai says, would have entered schools this week to make their checks. The association has not received untoward reports, so it appears the students will have an uneventful start to the new school term.
Principals are required to visit the schools during the last week of the vacation and to submit a report to the Ministry of Education about the readiness of particular schools for reopening. And that is done by principals by and large. But sometimes teachers come out of school, they may experience conditions or situations that are not conducive to teaching and learning, and they may take the decision to remove themselves. I cannot predict what will happen on Monday, but as of now, we have got no complaints about any single school being not ready to reopen on Monday.
There needs to be more municipal officers in the Chaguanas borough. This from President of the Chaguanas Chamber of Commerce, Richie Sukai. He said since government is moving away from the Community Comfort Patrol, something else must be put in place. He noted at this time there are only 4 municipal officers in Chaguanas.
And the current state of how the crime situation is in the country, and Chaguanas in particular, we need to really pull our weight, and the municipal police need to pull their weight within the Chaguanas community, that's for sure. Hopefully with this added cadre of men and women that are going to be added to their numbers, it could help filter some of the bureaucracy within the system and also clean up some of the streets of downtown Chaguanas.
He also addressed the issue of street vending in the borough.
Someone needs to take a stance for these street vendors in terms of looking for a proper home for them, so that every year they don't have to worry about evacuation from the streets. Street vending is illegal at the end of the day. We don't promote it in any way, but at the same time too, we understand what is the situation in the country. But Chaguanas is burgeoning at such a rapid rate that if someone does not put a handle on the current situation, we will just explode.
We start with news of football. Trinidad and Tobago's hopes of qualifying for the 2017 Gold Cup could be determined today when Suriname takes on Haiti at the Atchison Stadium. Pan American gold medalist Kiana Lester is now back home from hospital after being knocked down during a training ride in December. The 19-year-old was working with her Rig Texonics club when she was hit head-on by a car allegedly driving on the wrong side of the road. Lester told our Kent Fuentes that she is looking forward to getting back on her bike as soon as possible.
No, right now I can't remember anything except riding my bike before the accident happened. Well, it had people who came to see me, so my first reaction was actually getting to know who they were, because at that point in time when they were there, I didn't remember who they were exactly.
An account from national cyclist Kiana Lester on what happened on the day she was hit by a car while trading in area in South Trinidad on December 10th. The young cyclist, who suffered a broken jaw, dislocated hip, and bruising about the body, is in good spirits after her near month-long stay at the San Fernando General Hospital.
Oh, that's the greatest thing, because I was fed up of San Fernando General Hospital. I just wanted to leave San Fernando General Hospital. So now that I'm home, I'm almost at 100% and getting better. I'm very happy for that.
She's determined to getting back to what she loves most.
One of my goals is actually starting back cycling, and after cycling anything can happen. And my other goals, well, I do technical, because I can't technically remember, I don't currently know.
As she slowly regains her memory, one thing she remembers is the family support she received during her time spent at hospital.
My mom, she came, well, every day that she could have come to the hospital, she came. And I had Uncle Jeff there at the hospital with me. When my mom wasn't able to come and see me, he came and see me basically nearly every day.
She had a message for those sharing the roadways with cyclists.
I would tell them that when they see the cyclists riding, that they pass, if they're passing, that they pass the furthest that they could, the furthest from the cyclist, so that none of the cyclists would be hit when they pass in. And if they are getting close to the cyclists, that they should slow down.
Kiana is looking forward to taking up a UCI scholarship in Switzerland later this year. And we continue to wish her well on her road to recovery. Kent Fuentes, C Sports.
And that's the Scene News report at noon. Remember, for up-to-date and breaking news throughout the day, you can visit the Scene News website at ctvtt.com. I'm Mahalia Joseph. Have a good afternoon.